Thank you. What's up, Huckleberries?
Hey guys.
What's up? Happy Tuesday.
How does it feel to be back in your own homes, in your own beds?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the bed that I had in Florida was pretty darn comfortable, but my bed's even more comfortable.
Yeah.
I had a king bed. That down there had a queen.
Okay. Did you couldn't stretch your limbs out as far as you wanted to?
Like the full crucifix,
Oh man.
But it is nice. I actually showered when I got back to Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Brian, instead of showering all week in Florida, was doing the rub body wash all over himself. He was lathering himself and then rubbing shampoo in his hair and then just jumping in the pool.
I was showering like the caddy from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, exactly. Farm animal, aptly named. Yeah. As our good buddy Delaware Dig calls him, farm animal. But yeah, let's talk about the trip, guys. Florida was a blast. We were down there Monday through Saturday last week. At least Brooks and I were. Rogers was down Tuesday through Friday. We had a couple other buddies come in and out throughout the week. But it was a ton of fun down there. We had a blast. What was your favorite part of the weekend, Bri?
Figuring out how to work the hot tub and actually make it hot. Last night we were down there.
Yeah.
Got to 104 degrees. Before that, it was just a lukewarm tub where a bunch of potatoes were trying to be a bunch of white dudes who look like potatoes trying to boil.
Yeah, Brian was medium rare that last night in that 104-degree hot tub.
Oh man, my blood pressure was through the roof. It was great.
Brooks, what was your favorite part of the weekend?
Just seeing baseball again. It was good hearing the crack of the bat and hearing the ball hit the mitt.
Yeah. When we got there to that first workout that we went to on Wednesday morning, that was really awesome. Just seeing live BP and seeing the guys again.
Yeah, and look, if I'm being very serious, my favorite part of the trip was being around you guys, like just all of our friends as a collective group. You know, it's very rare that we can all get together because life has happened. You know, kids, families, travel, distances between us. So being able to be around all the guys, for lack of a better term, have no responsibility. Have no responsibility, but just to have laughs and drink beer and just have a good time. And yes, Laura Brooks looks mad.
Yeah. He's an angry elf. He's got his angry face on today.
Is there a reason? Did Caitlin kick you out of the house? Is there a reason you're outside on your porch?
I'm just enjoying the day because it's going to be closer to 70 today.
Yeah.
Fire truck's about to go by. So we can tell you that.
I was going to say, it's pretty loud. But my favorite part of the trip was definitely just hanging out with the guys, drinking some beers. There was a night where some of the guys went out, and me and Brian and Brett, Richie stayed back, and we kind of had like a 3-hour heart-to-heart in the hot tub. It was awesome. It was really cool, and that just doing stuff like that and being able to do stuff like that with your friends who you don't see very often, and you get to catch up on their lives and how they feel and everything. That's the most important part of those kind of weekends for me. So.
Between that and then heart to heart in the hot tub.
Oh yeah. There was whiskey, there was beer, and it was very heterosexual.
Red wine.
Yeah,
red wine. Oh, it was very homosexual, and it was
heterosexual.
Yeah, that same night I was babysitting our buddy Drew Burton, who joined us for one of the shows. And we all went out and met up with the Ryan Ripken crew at a couple bars, and don't really remember much from it, but hopefully we didn't say anything too stupid.
Well, I think Drew was yelling. Drew was yelling at a police officer at the Oriole game, who was, I can't remember what he yelled at him, and it might not even be worth repeating, but
Yeah.
The police officer had his back turned and was
Probably
putting mustard on his hot dog. The police officer's literally putting mustard on a hot dog, and Drew's like,
yeah,
stupid or something like, shut up.
This is before they had their night out. This is at the game. This is before they went out.
Yeah.
He was in dire straits, dude.
That dude is wielding a weapon. Like, you're yelling at this guy. The weapon was not the hot dog.
The hot dog
had a pistol.
He probably could have taken Drew out with that hot dog based on how Drew's balance was at that point.
Context: we lost Drew for a little while at the game. We found him in the lobby, just walking around in a circle, looking upwards, just at everything. And we're like, Drew, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know. And he was just like staring up and doing like spinning in a circle, looking at everything. Like, all right, well, come over here, Drew. We had to sit him down.
Drew
put a beer in his hand and be like, stay sit.
Drew was so drunk. His brother drove to Sarasota to our house
from Clearwater,
which is like an hour. And he's sitting there waiting for us to come home. And we're like, hey, Drew, we're going back to see your brother, Christian. And Drew's like, I'm not going home. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And then Christian proceeded to tell a stand-up comedy routine in the kitchen. We're not going to repeat any of that, but it was really, really funny.
We can't repeat the stories, but that man is a comedian. He needs a microphone and an amp.
Yeah,
he was killing it. I had no shirt on, laughing my fucking face off at the stories he's telling.
I was the next day we made we'll get into this story, but we made the terrible decision to play golf. But
that's a shame.
Needless to say, Drew and I were as hungover as we've been in a very, very long time. I don't think mixing. We probably had about 5 IPAs on our podcast that day, mixed with, call it another 5 or 6 tall boys at the game, mixed with tequila and sodas, mixed with espresso martinis,
mixed with hot dogs and chips,
mixed with
onion dip,
mixed with bombs. So by the time Drew and I and another one of our friends met up with the Ryan Ripken crew, we must have been speaking in cursive. I don't know how. I texted Ryan the next day. I was like, the only thing I remember is Zach is way taller than I thought, and he was wearing an unbelievable grout fit. I was like, I don't know what else was said between us. I hope we had a great time.
That is a Molotov cocktail of hell. You should have just fisted yourself instead of doing all that.
It happens to the best of us, Yeah. That or Ryan roofied me, one or the other. But I think it was the combination of everything else that happened before then.
I think you guys did it to yourself that day.
When the healthiest item you had is a glizzy, that's not good.
The night before that, however, we got to talk about, because I don't think the members or any of the listeners know about this. We went out, watched the Maryland game, because we went live up until the Maryland game that whole day. Basically, we went out, watched the Maryland game, had a great time, and then we go to this bar, eat some pizza, which we're all kind of losing our memory here at this point. And then we go to this everyone except for Brian, because he can drink 40 beers and it doesn't matter. I have bits and pieces, but anyway, we go to this pool hall afterwards. It's not a pool hall, but it's a dive bar with pool tables. And I'm talking all kinds of shit, because Brooks and I grew up. We had a pool table in our basement. We played a lot. I work at a bar that has a pool table. It has pool tables. And we get up there. We miss our first 2 shots. And our buddy Brett's like, I'm terrible, Brian. This is going to go badly. And Brian goes to Brett, puts his hand on his shoulder. He says, I'm from Dundalk. I got this. And he proceeds to make like the next 6 balls. I look over to Brooks. I was like, we are so fucked, dude.
So funny you bring that up. That's where Ryan, me and Drew and Ryan and Zach and Kevin from the Ryan Ripken show went over there. And I know we played pool at some point. Have no idea who won or even what the teams were. I just remember like we made our way over there because I left my ID at another bar because I had to give my ID to get darts from the bar and didn't give the darts back like an idiot. And somehow made our way into that same bar we played pool into.
I think it's called Brewster's.
Pool. Well, Brewster's is where I had the darts.
Yeah.
But I made my way over to where we played pool, which is, I guess, LV's or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Evie's.
Evie's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because I guess I knew we wouldn't get carded there or something. And I was like, I'll just go back after we leave here. Never did. So
Where did you put the darts? Like in your pocket?
No, they just left them on the board. And then I went there. So I went the next day. I walked down to Brewster's the next day, and the bartender's like, I don't know why they took your ID to get darts, because I've never done that before. I don't know who did that. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, you could have told me anything. You could have asked for every dollar in my wallet, and I probably would have gave it to you.
Well, what he failed to tell you is that he didn't first walk into Brewster's. He first walked into a different bar, and he was looking for his ID. He was like, "Hey, I left my ID here because I got darts last night." And the lady's like, "We don't have darts here."
Well, first she started looking for my ID, and then she comes back. She was like, "I just processed what you just told me, and we don't have darts here." And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm at the wrong bar, aren't I?" She was like, "Are you thinking about next door?" I was like, "This is Brewster's, right?" She was like, "No." She's like, "That's next door," and I'm like, "Yep, I'm at the wrong bar." And she was like, she goes, "It sounds like you had a rough one. Just keep the beer. Like, I'm not." She didn't charge me for the beer.
Keep the beer.
She was like, "Just keep." She was like, "You're good. Sounds like you're having a rough one." I'm like,
"You got a sympathy beer. I like it. That's awesome."
She didn't card you because you didn't have your ID to show her.
Well, I told her going into it. I was like, I was like, I am going to get a beer because I walked into the establishment. I'll make you look for my ID.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I'm telling you, I don't have my ID to show you. It's behind the bar. So she got me my beer. She took my card, and then she looked for my ID, and then everything happened. She's like, I don't care. Just keep it. Sounds like you're having one. Good luck with your ID. I was like,
keep the glass too. Just get the hell out of here.
Well, luckily it was in a bottle, and she was like, and there's no container laws. So.
But all in all, man, that was great. The Airbnb was killer. Time with the boys was great. Baseball, being around the game again is just awesome. It brought a smile to all of our faces. I will say this: I've never seen this occur in my life, and I've been to a lot of baseball games. But I don't know if you guys remember this or not. There were two foul balls hit almost in the identical place while we were standing we were standing in the concourse, literally trying to basically cage Drew.
It was unbelievable. It was right after the hot dog incident.
Right after the hot dog incident, a foul ball hits let's say 10 feet to our right, and then 2 minutes, a minute later, another foul ball hits in the same spot.
Dude, it was like the next pitch.
We're out in the concourse. Like, we're not even in the game. Like, we're out here.
It was raining foul balls.
I was like, what is going on? Is there like a high school having BP somewhere?
I thought people might have been throwing baseballs at us. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, the two balls hit the same spot.
Brett was on the phone, and I was like, Brett. And he was like, I'm on the phone. I was like, dude, there's a foul ball right at your feet.
Right next to you. And I was like, all right, we could have ran and got that one. And I was like, I'm never going to be a guy that's going to run after a fucking foul ball.
Yeah.
And then another one comes. I'm like, all right, I'm getting that one and giving that one to a kid, because a bunch of grown ass men like went after the other one. And I'm like, all right, I'm taking this one and I'm giving it to a kid. We ended up giving it to the police officer and be like, hey, no, we ended up giving it to a kid. But we were going to give it to the police officer because there's no kids walking by at that hour.
Yeah.
And everything got a little hazy after that.
Yeah. All right. I think it's a good time to do our That's a Shame segment, because I got to talk about this golf story. And then Brian hasn't heard the story yet.
Why am I nervous? Like, I'm literally nervous.
Just think of everything that could go wrong went wrong.
So Brooks and Drew wake up after their night out after the ball game, and Brooks really wants to play golf because four of us brought our golf clubs down to Florida. He's like, "This is our last day. We got to go play." We hadn't made a tee time, so he makes a tee time on
in the morning.
Now. Yeah,
oh, great in the morning
because you were still drunk.
I didn't even feel still drunk though.
That's how it feels. Anyway, so Brooks books the tee time on Golf Now at a course that is supposed to be 10 or 15 minutes away from our Airbnb. to put this in context, we don't have a rental car. We've been Ubering everywhere. Everything in Sarasota is within 10 minutes of each other. You don't need a rental car if you go there. So our buddy Brett is staying in the house, and he has to fly in a couple hours, and he's got a rental car. And so we're running late for this tea time because we had just booked it an hour before. And we say, hey, Brett, can we all pile in your car? And then it's only 10 or 15 minutes, and then you can just drive us back. And then he's got to go to the airport in a couple hours. He says, no problem. We'll do that, guys. So before
we loaded up the car with the bags.
Yeah.
Like, had it started. Everything was in there. I even drove for him.
Yeah.
I was like, Brett, I'm trying to make this as easy as possible.
Without his ID, by the way, because he didn't get his ID till later on the night.
Yeah. You were still drunk and you got in behind the wheel? What is going on? Your dad's going to kill you. Your dad's watching.
You don't know if I was still drunk or not. Allegedly. Okay?
Right.
I was doing cold plunges between the pool and the hot tub that morning.
And John Collinsworth made cheeseburger eggs.
And I was feeling great.
Anyway, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Anyway, so before we go to the golf course, I'm like, Brooks, Calusa Country Club is a 55-minute drive from here. And he said, oh, well, we're playing this course called Calusa National. I look, there's 4 different courses called Calusa something or the other. Calusa Country Club is the one we were playing. Calusa Country Club's not the one we went to first. We went to nothing. We went to Calusa National Golf Club. It was like a business park. There was no one there. There was no golf course. This is no good. So we relook at the booking. It is Calusa Country Club, as I suggested before we left, and still 55 minutes away, but we're a little closer now. So we're just like, all right.
Different addresses though, which is weird.
So anyway, we were like, all right, fuck it. Well, we can get there on time. Let's just floor it. Brooks floors it. We get there. We pull in to a housing development.
To Baghdad?
That is not developed quite yet. Let's just say they had just cleared the trees and everything is mud. It looks like a new housing development that hasn't been developed yet. There's not a house.
Did you call it Baghdad?
That's what it looked like.
It looked like Baghdad.
There was no signs for the golf course. There are no roads. We're driving down dirt roads. There is no pro shop. The pro shop is a temporary trailer. There is nothing at this golf course. We show up. This is no good. Right. This is what I'm Nick. This is no good. But at the time, I'm not thinking this is no good. I'm thinking I'm going to kill my fucking brother. That's what I'm thinking.
I think I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
Or the guy at the front.
Yeah. So we get there. The 4 caddies, the guys taking your bag off the cart, the bag drop guys. They don't know what's going on at all. They are the least helpful, least informed human beings on the planet Earth. And Brooks booked this on Golf Now. I think we literally could have just walked up, got in 2 carts, and just went and played the golf course and not talked to a single person.
Wait,
we wouldn't have known where to go because there was no fucking signs anywhere.
The bag guys didn't know how to do their job. It's pretty thoughtless.
So,
take the bag.
So this is not the worst part of the story. The worst part of the story is I go in and pay, and it's way too expensive. $130 to pay this golf course per person. Yes. Which immediately we should have just been like, we're leaving, but we're 55 minutes away. We just drove here. We're just like, all right, let's make the best of it. We're going to go to the course.
Looking back, we should have just said, fuck it.
Yeah. The course was nice. The course itself was nice. Like the grass that the course was on. But kinds of the exact hole that we were playing, basically it was fairway green, tee boxes were nice. Everything else was unbelievably gross. It was mud. It was terrible. It was building equipment, Caterpillar machines over here, fucking bulldozers over here, and it sucked. We get on the 3rd hole. All of us are pissed off at this point. And
Drew and I were trying to bring the vibes.
Brooks and Drew were yelling good vibes as they made triple bogey after triple bogey.
Was there beer? Tell me the beer.
So we get to hole 3, and we're like, we need the cart girl so bad because their hangovers are starting to kick in. My starting to kick in. I'm already pissed off. My adrenaline's going.
At this point, I think the cart girl is going to be Joe Radke. The cart girl had to be Joe.
That would have made it better.
Sorry, guys. The course is so new. We just opened. We don't have a liquor license yet. I don't have any alcohol. So we're 55 minutes away from our place. It is 85 degrees outside. We don't have sunscreen. All of us got completely fried, burnt. These guys are as hungover as they possibly could be, and there is no end in sight. no end in sight. We had to wait on every single shot we hit. We made it through 16 holes. I don't know. Well, I made it through 16 holes. Brooks made it through like 14 and a half or something. Brooks and Drew.
I started pacing. We started pacing the tree. Yeah. We started pacing the tree line, which is not really even. It's like a dirt line. Because we started getting the mouth sweats, dude, and we were like, oh no, something's coming.
We are down bad. Drew, like we had just mentioned, Drew probably had 50 beers the day before, and it's 85 degrees outside. We're 55 minutes away in the middle of fucking nowhere, Florida. I think it was called Waterbury, Florida.
The Waterbury Open, like in
so we just go past the people who were playing 17 and 18. We're like, we're so done.
We're done.
And all we want to do is just get an Uber back to the place. And it's 4:00 on Friday in Florida, so it's rush hour traffic. Number one. Number two, we're in the middle of nowhere, so we can't get an Uber for an hour. It took us an hour to get an Uber. And when we finally got an Uber, granted, 4 big dudes, 4 golf bags in the back. It's this small ass little Toyota Corolla, and we somehow fit all 4 of the.
We bottomed out on every bump.
The muffler hit the pavement no less than 50 times, and no less than 10 times did it wake Brooks up next to me, and I was sitting in the back.
Drew and I are trying not to throw up and sleep at the same time.
It was the worst. Talk about 4 dudes just down bad, just defeated.
I could I don't know. I couldn't even fathom a worse day, to be honest with you. And to talk about the actual golf that was played, like Drew and I could barely fucking hit the ball to begin with. That's
so
how
ugly.
We were. Like we were literally. I was like, I'm taking half swings to try to hit the ball semi down the course.
I don't know that Brooks hit a fairway today in that one round of golf. I don't know that he hit a single fairway.
The first shot. That's why we were team good vibes.
Team good vibes.
We were team good vibes. We're like, all right, me and Drew are gonna have good vibes here. We're gonna turn something out of this shitty ass fucking day.
Yeah.
Our first 2 drives were like not great, but they were fairway finders that barely got off the ground. We're like, all right, well, that's just something. That's just a great moment for things to come, right? Things are gonna bounce our way.
It was not.
They did not. Drew made like 100-foot putt too.
Oh, like hole 5. The only skin they won on the front 9 from us was Drew made literally the longest putt I've ever seen hold in my life. It was over 100 feet. It was the biggest green I've ever seen. He's all the way on the back, and it just goes in.
So team good vibes were feeling pretty good at that point.
Yeah, and that's the next hole is when we ran into the cart girl, and all the bad vibes came real quick.
Oh my.
Well, I guess I'm like, can I please get a double Tito's and lemonade? And she's just like, I'm so sorry, we don't have alcohol. I was like, do you guys just want to leave now? Like, do you guys?
That's when we should have left.
Yeah.
Did you Instacart or Uber Eats alcohol to the course?
They wouldn't have been able to find us.
Yeah, dude, you couldn't do anything. They would have had to send a drone. I literally, I don't know if they could have found us with a drone. The Uber driver was just like, I don't know where to go.
We couldn't find it. The Uber driver couldn't fucking find it. We get to the course and like the guy's being a dick at the front.
Yeah.
And then Dusty wasn't even there for this. We get up to the
starter.
The starter, and he's like, "You're not on the list." He's like, "What's your name?" We're like, "Rothschild for 1036 or whatever." He's like, "Oh, I don't have anybody in that slot. You're not on the list." I was like, "I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, I'm sorry, your list doesn't have it. We booked it this morning." He goes, "Did you just show up?" I'm like, "I mean, we got here somehow. I'm here for the tea time." He's like, "Where's your other 2? They're right behind us." So I don't see them. It's like, buddy, I'm gonna fucking end your life here in a second. I was, oh my god, I was so mad. He's like, "Well, you're not on the list." It's like, I don't know what this list is. Like, is this a list to get into the gates of heaven to this exclusive golf club that you guys have here? Like, you guys should be begging people to come play. We're here. Let us fucking play.
In about 4 years, when the community is developed, that course is going to be really nice because it was actually, like, once again, the grass was good. But there was not much of it, and the surroundings were as ugly as you could possibly imagine. Also, there's no sign to get from hole 1 to hole 2. We didn't know where we were going. We had no idea. You could just you're driving around a construction zone.
We sat there where the bag checker is, waiting to be told, like, all right, where's the first tee at? And we're looking at other people around us who are also having this same question.
Yeah.
And he can obviously hear us talking about this and doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
And then we're like, hey, how do we get to the first tee? And then he starts talking to somebody else, and then finally tells them how to get there, and then they tell us, and we're like, all right, I guess we'll follow you guys. We go up to like the driving range, and we're like still perplexed about how do we get to the first tee, and this is when the whole bad stuff started with the starter, because I'm driving trying to find it, and he like runs out in front of me, he's like, ho, like, you gotta stop. I'm basically saying, I'm the checker. I need to make sure that you're good to go. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to find nobody has told me where to go, but at this point, so I'm furious.
Yeah. The ability to eat solid food should not be taken for granted today, sir. Like, let's let me go to the first fucking tee box.
Anyway, I will give my review of the course. 0 stars. Calusa Country Club in Waterbury, Florida. In about 4 years, it's going to be nice. Do not ever fucking go there in the next couple of years. It is the worst place on earth. You will have a miserable time.
We should have played a $25 municipal that was close by. We should have done.
And if you want to sponsor us, Calusa Country Club, I don't fucking care. I don't want your money.
No. That was the worst day of my life.
The worst. And we get home and we made the best of the night, and it ended up being a good rest of the night. But that was the last day of our trip, and the first 8 hours of it were a hell on earth. Anyway,
the rest of the night was.
That's a shame. That whole situation.
While you're going through hell, I'm literally at the airport. I went and bought 2 Gatorades and just walk up to the bar and go, I'll take a double vodka on the rocks. And they started making badges. For those of you who don't know what badges is, vodka and Gatorade. So I just started making my own badges right there at the bar because I'm hungover. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. You guys went through hell.
Dude.
Well, and then we ended up finally making it out. We go back to Brewster's because I got to get my ID. I finally figure out how to get there. And then we meet some of our other buddies down there as well. Actually, Brewster's had some incredible wings, surprisingly good. And then
some librarian bartenders.
Ooh, I like librarians.
And we end up staying. Dusty goes back like a responsible adult. And it gets to about like 11:30, and I'm like, at this point, I gotta wake up at 3. Drew and John, our other buddy, have made it all the way back to the promised land. They're on the other side of everything, and they're ready to go. And I'm like, you know what? I'll stay out with you. So I stay out till closing time, 2 a.m. there. I have my Uber lined up for 3. I order like a 30-piece McNugget, down that on the couch, get into my Uber. Go to the airport, find out my airplane has 3 people on the airplane.
3 people.
3 people. And so I basically.
Or did you all sit in the same row?
I was like joking around with the people. Like, I was like, you want me to sit? Can I sit there? And so we basically flew private back home, like got home early as shit. So all that was actually great.
Yeah.
So
did the plane have a liquor license? Did the plane have alcohol?
I didn't drink. I just got the only sleep I got for the day was right there. So I got here, went home, had to babysit right away, then had to go to a baby shower the rest of the day. And then,
man. Yeah, I also
tried to catch up on sleep the last couple of days.
I went home from the bar that night and tried to get some sleep before I also had to be at the airport at 3 a.m. and I didn't get any sleep at all. So I was running on like 26 hours straight of being awake, and I can't sleep on airplanes. I kept dozing off, and I immediately wake up because I just can't sleep in cars and airplanes for whatever reason.
Especially when they're bottoming out.
Nightmare. Yeah. So then, Saturday happens, and that's a disaster. We're not talking about that, but yeah. So yeah. Well, anyway, we're back home.
I like Dusty comes into my work after he gets home, and he starts to talk to me about this story that I just heard for the first time. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to save this for the podcast.
Yeah.
And I go, perfect.
Yeah.
Because you would have wasted it on me at Chaucer. And I'm so glad you stopped yourself and waited to share it with our viewers and listeners.
Yeah. But anyway, you guys are welcome that you didn't have to be there because it was terrible. But it was it's something we're gonna look back on fondly because we're gonna laugh about it for the next 100 years of our lives, hopefully.
Well, you did a good job. My that's a shame. My that's a shame for the week is this is not about, well, maybe it's about the person, but Stephen A. Smith's new contract. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read up on this yet. He got a new 5-year, $100 million contract from ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dislike the man. I don't dislike the contract. What I don't like about it is it's going to, well, maybe I dislike the contract for this reason. It's going to allow him to talk politics. It's something he really wanted. I watch sports to get my mind off of the negative news cycle that we have on a regular basis. I don't need Stephen A. Smith talking politics when I'm watching ESPN or whatever program he's going to be on. And so that bugs me. It's like we're trying to all pontificate all the fucking time. Like, that's why I don't even watch these award shows anymore, because people get up there and talk about politics or what's going wrong in the world. Like, let me get some enjoyment out of fucking life. Yeah. So I just don't like that. One of the reasons for his new contract is so that he can talk politics. It doesn't do anything for me. So that's my next thing.
I agree. Brooks, you have that's a shame, or you want to share the golf story with me?
I mean, that was going to be my that's a shame, but let me think about it. I'll definitely come up with one.
I mean, that was a shame.
I guess my that's a shame could have been
how you
us
hit?
Blackie. Well, yeah, that too. And not being able to not being coherent enough to meet up with Laura.
Yeah,
for some drinks.
Yeah, that's.
You ducked Laura. Come on, man.
Just us, man. That's on us.
Not on purpose, but it was. Dusty and you went back to the Airbnb and never came back out. But Drew and I were out, and like I said, not coherent enough to even hold a conversation with anybody. That's for sure.
Yeah, honestly, so, you kind of ducked them. You made a good choice.
Laura, trust me.
I had to send Zach. I had to send them all a text the next day, like, "Hey, hopefully that wasn't too bad."
Jesus Christ, man!
I mean, whatever. This is the Gary Williams on my lawn furniture show, after all, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had a blast back in the Airbnb with Dusty and Brett and Christian. That was great.
Yeah, that was
Laura,
really great.
Laura would have been pissed if she showed up and she was like, "I got to babysit these fucking clowns."
We were literally talking in the kitchen while we were drinking beers. We were talking about how we thought Drew was going to get arrested. The odds were in favor of Drew getting arrested. Smart money. If DraftKings had a line on Drew getting arrested, it'd been in favor of him getting arrested.
He rarely gets I shouldn't say rarely. He never gets arrested because, like, for whatever reason, he just makes friends with everybody. He's so
likable, even when he's hammered.
He just keeps laughing and he just keeps trying to make jokes. and he just keeps going, but they don't make any sense.
He's so harmless. Like you just
need to sit him. You just need to sit him and be like, seatbelt him in and be like, stay here.
Yeah. When he was talking about Pornhub and like we were talking about how you might not be able to get it in Florida, and he's like, "Well, I haven't tried it yet." And we were like, "Yeah, you just got here."
Then he didn't have food for over
48 hours.
36 hours after he landed. He had 2 pieces of bacon when he walked in the door during the podcast, and then woke up 2 days later and goes, "I haven't had food since then, or since I've landed in this state. Besides that, we need to try to figure out how to do that because I'm usually not left unsupervised for this long, so I've forgotten to eat."
When you guys got home from the bar that night, I know you probably don't remember it, but Drew's still up somehow, and he puts all my he stuffs in my room, so he puts all my clothes on. He comes downstairs. I was like, "Drew, those are my clothes. Go back upstairs, try again." He goes back upstairs. He comes back down with my bathing suit on. I'm like, "Drew, how hard is this? It's your bag. How do you not understand this?" And so he finally comes back down. He's drinking a beer. He's drinking one of the beers in the fridge, and I'm sitting on the couch. And I'm like, "Hey, Drew." Drew's up. He's in the kitchen. I'm like, "Hey, Drew, can you go grab me a beer?" He takes his half-drank beer and just throws it at me. I'm covered in beer. I'm like, Drew, get me a new beer, not your beer. I want a new one.
And then he walks down. He walks down the next morning with Dusty's bathing suit on. I woke up next to him in my bed, and he walks downstairs with Dusty's bathing suit on after Dusty just told me the story. Like, hey, he keeps putting on my clothes last night, and I don't know why. And then he walks down with Dusty's bathing suit on and goes, "You see what I mean? He keeps putting my clothes on."
Oh, boy.
Shut up, Nick. We all know. Get out of here with that lawyer speak.
Oh, man.
All
right, are we going to talk sports
let's
today?
talk sports, guys. I know it's
All
been 30 minutes, but we had to talk about that. And honestly, that was the most fun.
That was
so
great.
fun.
That was great.
Yeah.
Let's start with baseball since football news is going to take.
Yeah, a lot of football stuff. But let's start with the biggest news in baseball, as far as I'm concerned, is Gerrit Cole getting Tommy John.
Yeah.
A lot of people speculating as to why he didn't get it at the end of the year last year, and he made it. He made it through their big playoff run, but I know that he was out for most of last season with elbow problems. And I would imagine this was there at the end of the season last year, right? Like, why now?
I don't know.
That's a rhetorical question. I have no fucking idea why, but
yeah,
it's just a shame for the Yankee organization. Look, I know we don't like the Yankees, but I enjoy good baseball. I enjoy good players. I appreciate greatness. I'm not saying he's the best pitcher of all time, but he's one of the best pitchers in the league right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to suck. Baseball is going to hurt because he's not pitching. Now, it's great for the Orioles. Yay. But I don't want to see people get hurt.
No.
I mean, you would have, like, obviously, this wasn't on the radar if it's happening now, or else they would have gotten it done beginning of the offseason. But it's weird. But I've also seen reports that they knew about this a little bit last year. So everything's pointing towards
this is weird.
I don't understand it unless they just thought he could heal it.
He's also a bit of a stubborn ass. I mean, and I go back to the opening day thing last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where like Billy Crystal was throwing out the first pitch and he took like 2 minutes too long and Gerrit Cole got all fucking mad. So I know he's a bit of a stubborn, hard ass. There's nothing wrong with that. That's his personality. Maybe that's why he didn't get the fucking Tommy John.
Yeah.
I mean, mix this with Luis Heel. Going to be out a couple months, it sounds like, at least.
Rookie of the year, reigning Rookie of the Year.
So it's going back to that depth thing we've talked about, and that's going to be big.
And you got Stanton with his
he's got
plasma. Yeah, his elbows are all fucked up.
Dude, he is just breaking down at a rapid rate right now.
Yeah.
When he's on the field, he's great. Like he hits. He still hits. He can barely run anymore.
He can't. He walks.
Yeah, he just like shuffles.
Saunter.
Yeah.
He was the big reason that they made that big run in the playoffs last year, though, because remember, Judge wasn't very good in the playoffs, and Stanton really picked up.
Yeah,
picked up slack for him. Yeah.
Also, I mean, what does this mean? Do you think that this makes the Orioles the favorite? Does this make the Orioles the favorites in the AL East? Do you think the Red Sox have done enough this offseason to prove to you that they should be the favorites in the AL East? Toronto is still in that camp, or do you still think it's the Yankees, even with all this pitching depth that they're losing?
Brooksy, go ahead.
I think it's going to be between the Yankees and us, probably. Obviously, we haven't talked much about it, but with Rodriguez, with Grayson getting his cortisone shot and everything like that, he's obviously going to miss opening day in a couple weeks, and Ketridge's going to be out past the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've taken a little bit of a hit, but I mean, this is where us stocking up a little bit has been a little bit of a blessing in disguise. So
I mean the draft, the betting lines where Yankees were the favorites in the clubhouse to win the AL East. I think now, given the two major losses to the pitching staff.
Yeah, Dusty, look that up. See if that's.
I'm looking. That's what I got right now.
Because I think that the Orioles now probably have to be the favorite, given that you're losing your ace in Gerrit Cole for the year, and you're losing Heel for at least 3 months.
Yeah. Luckily, they still have Max Fried.
As of right now, it's Yankees plus 135, Orioles plus 270, Red Sox plus 350, and then Rays actually plus 750, Blue Jays 13-1 to win the division. I would put the Blue Jays above the Rays. Would you not?
The Rays always seem to find a way.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Red Sox at plus 350. If I wasn't a fan of this division, I'd probably be on that. I think they're kind of going to be really good this year.
They're closet good.
I'm scared of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with what Brooks said. I think we have the best depth. I think we have the most answers if people get hurt. I think the Yankees are a little top heavy. I think that was the problem with them last year. I think that they got a little bit better with that because they didn't get rid of Soto, obviously, but instead of Soto, they have 4 or 5 more pieces. They have Devin Williams, Cody Bellinger, Max Fried, a lot of guys that they didn't have last year. But, losing your 2 top starting pitchers or 2 of your top starting pitchers is really, really going to hurt.
Also, the gunner stuff with him being questionable for opening day is a little concerning. It's making me think that it's more of an I don't know. I told this to you guys. I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but like abdomen stuff is tricky just because it's a lingering issue. But I know they were saying this isn't that. It's the ligaments in the ribs, which I don't know what that means, or how that feels, or how that's different, really. And I just can't imagine in a sport where everything depends on twisting and torque that's not going to be an issue. So I don't. It's okay if he's going to miss opening day and just get it, rest it. I'd rather it not just be a lingering thing.
Yeah, it seems like they're playing this really based on everything I've seen, and if anybody's listening and they have more information, based on what I've seen, it seems like they're playing this pretty cautiously with him. I think if this was a situation where we're down the line and he needs to start a playoff game, he's playing. But why push it on opening day? If he can come back a couple weeks after opening day, by the time the All-Star break comes around, we won't even remember that he missed the first couple weeks of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the vibes I get too. One other thing we forgot to talk about is we got to see Skeens live.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Wow,
that's a different noise. That's a different noise when he throws. It's coming.
Right when we got there, you guys split off, and me and our buddy Chris, the tall guy. Easy to follow in a crowd, which is really helpful. Thanks, Chris, for being so tall.
Right.
He's a beacon with hair. Like he just walks around. I don't call him Vidal Sassoon for no reason. The man has movie star hair. He wakes up, and I didn't think this was possible until I met Chris Merrick. Like the man wakes up and his hair is already pristine.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
So I'm following him down the left field line because our buddy Matt says he's like, all right, we're in the left field line by the bullpen. Okay, we go down there, and Skeens is pitching, and there is a mob of people around this bullpen trying to just see Skeens pitch in the bullpen. It was really cool. We got to see it for just a little bit. So, Chris got to see more of it than I did because he towers over everyone. But I got to see that, and that was really cool to hear because we're really close to it, and you can hear the catcher's mitt, and you're like, holy shit. And it doesn't even look like he's trying, which is the most impressive part. But I know he takes his workout and everything so seriously. Ends up that our buddy Milburn is in right field and he doesn't know directions. So we had to walk all the way back around the stadium.
We're in the left field. We're in the left field stands. No, you're not. You're in the right field stands. And if there were drunker people than Drew Burton, it was the group that was with Milburn. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Yeah. It was fun, guys. We had a lot of beers. Brian said he had more beers in 3 days than he does in a calendar year. That's what he said.
Well, I'm more of a liquor drinker, and I've been drinking red wine like a madman recently. Actually red wine. I might actually pour a glass. A morning red wine. But I drank probably like 60, 70 beers. It felt like at least, and that's the most I'll drink the entire duration of the year. I only drink beer when I'm on the golf course or when we go to tailgates. I only tailgate twice a year.
Yeah,
so, I'm gonna pour myself a little Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc.
Did you guys see Chris? Did you guys see Chris Bryant's bomb?
I did not.
Did you see 462 feet?
Good for him. I haven't heard that guy's name in a while.
I know.
Did you see Samuel Basayo absolutely shit on that ball last night? Because I was watching it at Turtle. It was awesome. As soon as it hit the bat, I was like, that's gone. And the right fielder just went like this.
Yeah.
Did not move.
Yeah, I think he's 5. I think it was 4 for 13 going into that game. Now he's probably 5 or 6 for 15 or so. I mean, if he keeps rolling, man, obviously he's going to start the year in AAA, but and I assume he's probably going to struggle. I know he's going to struggle at some point in the majors. It's just going to happen. But if he keeps hitting like this, it's going to be hard to keep him down.
I don't know. Has he made it to AAA yet?
No.
No,
We're talking
right?
about
Because Basayo, I think, yeah.
But they're saying he's starting the year in AAA no matter what.
Well, he got assigned to the Tides from the Bowie Bay Sox August 27th last year, so maybe he played maybe a cup of coffee in AAA last year. I would imagine he's going to be mostly AAA. Don't hate me, but he's better than Mayo right now. I don't think that's a question. He's been unbelievably. He's been way better than Mayo. I watched Mayo having a bat yesterday that looked like the same at bats that he was having at the end of the year with the Orioles last year. His approach was terrible. He looks like he's bailing on a lot of swings. I just don't really like what I've seen out of Kobe Mayo at the major league level and spring training this year. It doesn't look that much better. I know he's talented and obviously he's got the track record, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting scared about that guy.
He needs to make an adjustment. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's not a fucking 4A player.
Yeah.
We
don't need any Tyler Nevins. Sorry, not to shit on Tyler Nevin, but you know what you are.
but I'm gonna shit on Tyler Nevin.
Yeah, I guess I just did. Sorry. Only other baseball news that I saw was this Mo Vaughn stuff. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, he admitted to doing HGH.
He admitted that he was using HGH late in his career. To Mo Vaughn, I say, we know, dude. We all know.
And also, well done. Well, thank you for being honest.
Yeah. But anyway, I wanted to mention that Mo Vaughn, his brother Greg Vaughn was pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. Also, Jose Quintana signed with the Brewers.
Why do you like that guy so much?
Really I don't. It's $4.25 million.
He's been playing for 400 years. That guy's been playing forever.
I think Bartolo Colon might come back sometime this year.
Livan Hernandez, the ageless wonder. All right, let's get into some football because this is the talk of sports this week, and we have to get into it.
Before we start going over names.
Yeah, we're not going to get to everyone, by the way. We'll talk about
it. Wait. I got one other thing that we should bring up. Ray's owner is getting a bunch of pressure from the other owners in the commissioner's office to sell the team. Something.
Why?
Duh, right?
Why? I mean,
because they're playing in a minor league field this year because their roof wasn't structurally sound to handle a hurricane.
Because he couldn't figure out how to get a new stadium done the last 10 seasons, really.
Yeah.
With the city.
But
so my question there is, and this is no one's going to have the answer. Is he not trying to get a new stadium? Is he just getting a bunch of political pushback?
I think there's a lot of taxpayers that don't want to pay for it, kind of thing going on in St. Pete and Tampa. And I don't know all the details. I can't get into all the specificities, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on down there.
Yeah, and if that's not going to happen, he's going to have to go out and get some funding to get the stadium done. Is really what it's going to have to come down to, instead of just being hell bent on getting some of the taxpayers to pay it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that's been coming through my timeline here a little bit. And the A's officially announced they're putting that jersey patch on their uniform for like the Las Vegas Tourism Authority, something for like the Vegas ballpark.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, they're tying themselves to Vegas now.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're going to play a whole MLB season in 2025 with two Major League Baseball teams. Home field is going to be a fucking minor league field.
And I honestly, I think it's kind of cool, but it's not sustainable.
No,
I would love to go to a Sacramento A's game. I think that'd be fun as shit.
I don't think I'd want to do that.
I don't think I'm going
to on that one.
I don't think I'm going to make it, dude.
Well, it's a novelty act, obviously, but I just think it's fun. It's something different than going to a big ass ballpark, and you get to be closer. I mean, Jesus,
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
there you go, Joe.
not even. I mean, they're not even 15% of the way there, or 20% of the way there.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. That's good information, really.
Yeah.
But I just think it'd be fun to go to something small like that because I mean, part of the draw of spring training is you're closer to the players, you're closer to the field, you're down, you get to see some more action, you get to hear the pop, and I think that's really cool. You don't get that in a big ballpark with all the noise and all the bells and whistles going on around you. There's a lot more to see, and I like smaller ballparks. I mean, I would totally go watch a Rays game in Tampa at the Yankees spring training facility. It'd be fun. It'd be cool, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. All right, let's transition into football. A lot of stuff's happened. I mean, do you want to talk about the quarterbacks first, just to get the biggest dominoes out, or who do you want to talk about first?
What I want to talk about first has nothing to do with names. It has to do with when the fuck did legal tampering become a real statement in the NFL? Legal tampering. That's like saying jumbo shrimp. All right, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It came in around the same time as high leverage arms came in to the MLB. Yeah.
Don't get me going. You're tickling the bear. You're tickling the bear.
All the things that you hate. I'd say let's start with the quarterbacks and then we'll get into some of the other stuff. So biggest quarterback stuff, Geno Smith gets traded to the Raiders, and Sam Darnold signs with the Seahawks. I don't really know what the Seahawks are doing. I get it. It's only 55 guaranteed for Darnold, and it's only 3 years. So this is the contract they can get out of pretty easily after a year or two. I don't think that Sam Darnold is an immediate upgrade over Geno Smith, and if he is, it's very slight. And in the last 2 games, when it really mattered, Sam Darnold fucking shit the bed. I mean, he cost himself at least $100 million because it was looking like he was probably going to be closer to a $200 million quarterback until those last couple games. What do you guys think that about what Seattle is doing? They also trade DK Metcalf. I'm kind of befuddled by this. They won 10 games last year. I think they could add pieces and be a competitor, but I just don't know. Where are you at, Geno versus Sam Darnold, and where are you at on Seattle in general?
Who you want to go to first, me or Brooksy?
Yeah, go ahead, Bri.
I'm as perplexed as you are. Not really a big upgrade. I will say this: you at least got a 3rd-round pick back in return, so you do have that sitting there for you. This team is a defensive team. Given Mike McDonald coming from the Ravens, they're going to really, bank on that D. I don't know who their wide receivers are because Tyler Lockett was released. DK got shipped.
Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
Yes, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think I'm saying that name right. Hopefully.
Yeah.
They're just very odd to me right now, but they're going to be living by that defense. Is it Brandon Murphy? Byron Murphy? I think
Murphy, Clemson.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
So they're going to live and die by that guy probably next year, which is weird to say that you're anchoring your team around a D tackle.
Yeah. I mean, look, they got a lot of picks, right? So that's a plus. Based on what we've seen the last 5 or 10 years, you can get wide receiver depth down the board. I don't really necessarily know if I love Noah Fant for them as their tight end. I think he's just okay. He was very promising as a prospect, but I don't think he's really developed into the tight end that everyone kind of thought he was going to be out of Iowa. So I don't really know. I know JSN kind of had a breakout last year, but is he ready to take on that number 1 role, especially if we don't know who the number 2 is at this point? I just don't know if I love it. And I know they just got Kubiak's son to be their offensive coordinator, right? Clint Kubiak.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in that, but I don't know. I'm less bullish on Seattle now than I was last year, and I felt like they were on the up, and now I feel like they're kind of doing like a weird reset.
And they're in a very winnable division.
Yeah, too. Absolutely. Arizona, you don't know what you're going to get out of because you don't know if Kyler can stay healthy, and you don't know how the rest of the team is. LA, you don't know what you're going to get because Matthew Stafford has been in and out and been kind of hurt, and their defense is questionable, and their offensive line is terrible. And San Francisco could either go back to the Super Bowl this year or win 4 games, and I wouldn't be surprised either way. I have no idea what they're going to be. So I think Seattle was the prohibitive favorite for me going into the end of the year for that division, and I don't necessarily see them that way anymore.
I agree with you. On everything you just said, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
What do you think the trade off here is with Darnold and Geno? Do you think it's pretty even? Do you think Darnold's a little worse, a little better?
I think Darnold's a little better. I've never been a big Geno fan. I'm not making fun of his forehead. I'm not. but I think Darnold's a little bit better. Got a little bit more higher upside, and the floor is
Younger.
also lower. And
Younger.
He's still like 27, I think, which is nuts to think.
Yeah. I said this, but like it's 3 years, $100 million, but it's 55 guaranteed. So if he sucks, if he's a disaster this year, it's not like they can get out of it next year with like a $15 million cap hit, and it's not going to tank their team, and then they can reset.
Exactly.
I just don't know. I just feel like they're kind of punting this season in particular, and I just don't think they needed to because I think they could have won the division.
I guess that's why I'm saying
Darnold is a smidge worse than Geno, but also Darnold is 10 years, not 10 years, probably 6-7 years younger than Geno. So maybe they just wanted to get younger.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand? Do you think Darnold's better than Geno?
Probably younger, cheaper, and they must like some wide receivers that are going to be cheaper than DK as well. And DK hasn't been the healthiest guy in the league the last couple of years either. So, I don't think this is a complete punt, to be honest with you.
It's just kind of like a small reset.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're moving a needle here. They might be moving the needle here for some funds to get somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the only play I can think, or they love a lot of people in the draft.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, but I mean, they also just don't, there's nobody, I don't know. I just don't see Darnold as the quarterback of the future, obviously.
No.
Neither did the Vikings because they didn't franchise tag him. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's they must know there's got to be a quarterback in the draft coming up that they really like too, because they just got cheaper, younger with Darnold. They're going to save some funds.
And they got some draft picks.
And they got some draft picks, yeah. So I don't think it's anybody this year, but
yeah,
I don't know.
It seems like it's an odd move because I want to say this is a long-term play, but with a short-term contract. That makes no sense. I understand.
No. I mean,
it's a franchise long-term because if he's good, then this is a great contract for you. Mm-hmm. And if he's bad, it doesn't really matter that much because it's 1 year, basically 2 years.
Tanking for Arch Manning.
Tanking for Arch Manning. I mean, I don't know. People are going to start doing it.
Again, I don't think they're tanking. I think they're going to be. I think they just haven't moved the needle. I think it's kind of the only thing that they moved is funds. Really.
Yeah. Speaking of the Vikings that you just mentioned, they only have one quarterback rostered at this point, and it's JJ McCarthy because Daniel Jones just signed a deal with the Indianapolis Colts, 1 year, $14 million. So I guess there's going to be a nice Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones camp quarterback off. Have you heard a least compelling quarterback off in a long time? Minshew and Aiden O'Connell? I don't know.
That would be it. You know, that takes the cake.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess they're putting all their eggs in the basket of a rookie quarterback, a rookie guy who tore his Achilles as a rookie, and maybe they're not done. Maybe they're going to go sign somebody. And once again, I said this last night, it would be hilarious if they signed Aaron Rodgers so he could just complete the Brett Favre career path and go Packers, Jets, Vikings. But it looks like, as of everything we're hearing, that Rodgers is probably going to end up in Pittsburgh. We don't know that for sure either. We don't know where Russell Wilson's going to land. So maybe he could be the backup for McCarthy, or he could start the year and McCarthy could learn from him. I think they have options in Minnesota, but I mean, any other of the quarterback stuff stand out to you? Or you want to talk about Minnesota?
Fields to
the Jets. Yeah.
I want to go back to JJ McCarthy. If I'm JJ McCarthy and they bring in another fucking quarterback to start over me, I'm requesting a trade almost instantaneously. Like, hey, look, it's my turn. You drafted me number 12 overall or whatever it was. I got hurt. I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm ready to rock and roll. Don't put me on the fucking sideline again. Let me, what do they say there? Let me cook or all that stupid bullshit.
Let me cook, baby.
Like, let me go out and do my thing. You drafted me for a reason. You liked me. You wasted. You used the first round pick with me. Let me go. Don't bring in fucking Aaron Rodgers. And it's nothing against Aaron Rodgers. Don't bring in anyone to put over top me.
Yeah. Look,
I mean, they got to bring in a backup
disagree.
somehow. I mean,
we have to be a backup. Bring in Joe Flacco. Like, seriously, bring in Flacco. What's that?
I think that would be great
bring
for
in Fields.
McCarthy.
I mean, if I were them, Fields would have been great. I think Russell Wilson would potentially be a good backup mentor.
If he wants to be a backup, though, because
exactly.
Yeah, I think Russ wants to play.
Like, Flacco knows he's a backup now.
Yeah.
Russ, I think, still thinks he's a starter. So,
yeah, you have to manage that. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much shit happened. I mean, we didn't talk about Milton Williams. The Patriots spent a shit ton of money. Harold Landry, Milton Williams, got to really bolster their defense. I think they signed Robert Spillane as well. A couple other guys. They signed a ton of people. They're bolstering their team around their young quarterback and Drake May, who I think could take a step up this year, but I'm not worried about the Patriots too much. So I don't want to get super into them. We haven't talked about Ronnie Stanley on this podcast, I don't believe. 3 years, $60 million for him to come back to Baltimore. It's pretty much the only move the Ravens have made thus far in free agency of note. And honestly, I think this is a huge discount. I think he could have gotten $100 million by somebody, right?
Massive.
From somebody.
$44 million guaranteed, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I think this is a great deal for the Ravens. And look, Ryan Stanley gets him. Is this an ad? Was he a free? He was a straight up free agent, right?
Yeah, unrestricted as far as I know. Yeah.
So this basically is his last contract. Might be my assumption.
Doesn't have to be though. It's only 3 years.
Yeah, but I love this move for the Ravens. This is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, last year was his best season in several years. So played a lot better.
Discount.
And he took a discount. I mean, not a lot of really good left tackles getting, only $20 million a year. With 44 guaranteed, so only really 15 a year with incentives to get up to 20.
And he was the number one guy free agent on the board, so it's like you had to go get him, and obviously we need a little bit of the offensive line did obviously ended up playing pretty well last year after a tough start.
Yeah,
but we also lost Ben Cleveland. We lost somebody else.
We lost. We lost. Patrick McCarry signed a deal with the Jaguars. He played every offensive line position for us over the last 5 years. So, he's kind of been our Swiss Army knife. We also lost Brandon Stevens, who signed a 3-year deal with the Jets, which my buddy Nick Vogt texted me. I love that the Jets just signed all of our bad players and think that they're going to be good. That's so good. They signed Morgan Moses. They signed Chuck Clark. He immediately tears his ACL. The Jets are just a complete dumpster fire, but maybe Aaron Glenn will turn it around. Who knows?
Speaking of offensive line, the center Drew Dahlman, the Bears bolstering their line again.
Oh my god,
dude! Good for them, man.
Yeah,
good for them.
They're knocking it out of the park. They're knocking it out of the park, and they have 5 draft picks in the first 3 rounds this year, I think. I mean, they got a chance here. If they hit on another receiver, if Odunze improves, Brooks, you said Keenan Allen's a free agent, so they're not going to have him, but still have DJ Moore there. He's a Terp. I mean, there's just so much shit to talk about. Chris Godwin took a little bit of a discount, it seems like, to stay with Tampa. 3 years, 66. There were reports that the Jets offered him upwards of 85 million. So, staying with the home team.
This goes back to that tax thing we talked about, though. You go to New York, you're going to get fucking both. Basically, it's the same contract.
Yeah,
it really is the same contract. The numbers obviously look different, but the take-home money is going to be basically the same. I'm not going to get here into tax bracketing.
Yeah.
Well, that and moving sucks.
Yeah. If he's got a family, I don't know if Chris Godwin's got a family, but if he does, you don't want to uproot your whole family to go play for the Jets when you can make similar money playing for the team you've been playing for the last 8 years.
And pay to move.
Yeah. Josh Sweat went to the Cardinals. That's a big move for them. 4 years, 70-some million. Travarius Ward signed with the Colts. They're bolstering their defense up a little bit. I don't really see it with the Colts. If they don't figure out the quarterback, I don't really think that matters. Joey Bosa is still a free agent. Javon Holland signed with the New York Giants. Good for them. They got a nice safety. Who's playing quarterback? Same thing. Just and also Laramie Tunsil to the Commies.
Whoa! What
about that?
All right, the Bears and the Commies have crushed the offseason. And normally when the Redskins at that time crushed the offseason, they were fucking terrible in the regular season. I really love these moves in this new regime, man.
I do too. I think everything they've done to win this year. They signed Debo, or they trade for Debo. They trade for Laramie Tunsil. They did a lot of really good. They made a lot of really good signings last year to bolster their defense. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu made an immediate impact for them. I think they lost Jonathan Allen to free agency. I believe he just signed with somebody.
They cut him and then he signed.
Yeah. So, they lose him. By lose him, I mean he's not going to play for them anymore. But, they lose him willingly because of, contract stuff.
Who did he sign with? Who did Jonathan Allen sign with?
I'm looking it up now. I'm trying to find.
Why am I...
He signed with the Minnesota Vikings. 3 years, $60 million.
Yeah, he signed the day. I think the next day.
Great move for the Vikings. They're bolstering that D line that's already good. If McCarthy is good, the Vikings are going to be so good. But
McCarthy just has to be decent. He's got so many.
Yeah, if he could be Darnold, they could win 14 games. They did it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy Rocco just shot me a text.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if he could call in here for a second, but he wants to reach out to him after we get done here. So
okay,
he's working right now. Bro. Yeah.
One more before we move off the offensive lineman. I think this is the only one that we haven't talked about is the Chiefs getting an offensive lineman, Jalen Moore from the Eagles, which is a big one. I think he's from the Eagles. Am I wrong on that?
I forget where he was from. I didn't know who he was.
I saw the name, but I don't know if he was from the Eagles or not.
I know the Steelers lost their left tackle.
Yeah, they did. He got paid by somebody.
He got paid big.
Titans or somebody AFC South team. Every time somebody signs with the AFC South team, I just don't care.
Yeah, and the Pittsburgh and the Steelers seem to be pretty excited that he's gone. So
yeah.
Like a bad person?
Going back.
No, just never lived up to his potential. Thought he was a liability. Everything like that.
The Steelers' O-line has been bad since Pouncey retired. Straight up. I mean, it's just just been bad.
And haven't been healthy either.
Yeah. Going back to the Tunsil thing. What in the fuck are you doing, Houston? Your biggest weakness on your team is your offensive line. You got CJ Stroud murdered for half the season last year, and you go out and you trade the only guy in your offensive line that's any good. What's the plan?
It's hard to take shots at them though, because they turned that thing around in record time.
Yeah, dude, but I don't know. I see what the Bears are doing right now. If you're CJ Stroud, are you happier if you're on the Bears right now, or are you happier if you're on the Texans? Because I'm happier if I'm on the Bears getting all those pieces in there. And maybe they're not going to be any good. Who knows? I don't know, man. I think, Laramie Tunsil's a pretty good fucking left tackle. I probably wouldn't let him go.
I mean, he was going to get drafted by the Ravens until that fucking
gas mask, dude. Yeah.
I wonder if they're in some cap stuff right now. If they needed to let go of him because he's too expensive.
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was weird.
Rams retained Jimmy Garoppolo on a 1-year deal to be a backup. Worth mentioning.
See Chase Young. Chase Young got a $57 million deal. What the hell has that guy ever done in the league? Yeah,
the Saints.
Yeah. What has Chase Young proven in the National Football League that he deserves $57 million? I know he was a top prospect. I know, but he hasn't done shit in the NFL. Nothing.
It feels like him and Clowney have had the same career path to begin their career.
That's a really great call, dude.
That's a great comparison.
Yeah, really great call. Because I totally agree with you. And Clowney's still getting paid, and now Clowney's good. Now that he's older.
Yeah. He's kind of figured it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And he had some injury stuff to begin his career, too. I remember.
Chase Young, he just did not produce when he first came out. He reminds me a lot of another
too, I guess.
He did. He had knee problems, and he just reminds me a lot of a guy that also came out of Ohio State named Vernon Golston. I think went like 6th overall
to the Jets. Yeah. Vernon Golston. What a draft bust that guy was. He was out of the league in less than 3 years. Najee Harris to the Chargers, by the way. Did you guys see that?
What just happened?
No, it happened last night. They released Gus Bus and they signed Najee Harris. I believe J.K. Dobbins is still a free agent. for them.
I wouldn't mind seeing him come back.
Speaking of the Chargers, Khalil Mack back
Yeah.
for 1 year.
1 year, $18 million. Yeah. And they lose Joey Bosa. They cut him. He's still a free agent. He's probably, I would imagine, the best free agent pass rusher left on the board, right?
Yeah, since
if he can stay healthy.
Well, since Hassan Riddick, who's played for 2 different teams in the last couple of years and never played for either of them.
Yeah.
Well, no, I shouldn't say never played for the Eagles. He played for the Eagles, but he never made it onto the field for them that year, and never made it on the field for the Jets either. So
yeah. Yeah,
he's signed what? 1 year, $14 million
with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
$66 million. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one year, $14 million, 12 guaranteed to the Bucks. Good for the Bucks. I think they retained Shaq Barrett too, who went back there on a hometown deal. I like the Bucks.
Hopefully he'll play.
I like the Bucks. I hope Godwin can come back and be good for them because I know he's coming back from his second big leg injury. So that's going to be tough. We didn't talk about Davante Adams going to the Los Angeles Rams. We did talk about him getting released by the Jets. We didn't know at the time that he was going to sign a deal with the Rams. It also looks like the Rams are going to be cutting Cooper Kupp tomorrow. If a deal doesn't come into place by tomorrow, they're going to cut him. And I think he'll be a huge piece. What do you think of this move for the Rams? Do you think Davante Adams is a step up from Cooper Kupp at this point in their careers, or do you think this is a lateral move?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a step up just based on health.
Yeah, really. I agree.
Because you already have Puka Nacua, who basically is Cooper Kupp. So now you're getting a taller, lanky receiver out on the outside.
Yeah,
you can still have Puka Nacua being in the slot.
Yeah.
And
I like it.
If you watched the Jets last year, towards the end of the year, which I know a lot of people didn't because they were terrible and it was no fun. I mean, Davante Adams definitely still got some juice in the tank. I mean, he was kind of carrying their offense. I know Rodgers kind of force feeds him the ball, which is kind of their relationship. But I mean, look, the dude can still ball. Like he's got some juice in the tank. Cooper Kupp, on the other hand, he kind of went MIA for the last half of the season last year, and I don't know what happened because he started off hot. So I don't know. Maybe if he was coming back from that injury, if he was that was still lingering, if he wasn't fully healthy. But I mean, I think he had 3 catches in the last 5 games total or something. It was bad. And not that he wasn't on the field; he was still running routes. So yeah. Any other names we missed, guys? Put them in the comments. But I mean, it's just a list of names that it's just so hard to keep up with because there's just so many guys, and just so much shit happening, just rapid fire. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the Eagles trade him to the Texans. In return, they get Kenyon Green, former first-round pick from the Texans, and they also swapped late-round picks during this trade. Also, for the 49ers released Kyle Juszczyk, 9-time Pro Bowler. Yeah, Kyle Juszczyk, which I thought was interesting.
Where'd he go to college? Harvard. Yeah, baby.
I thought it was interesting because Big Pat Ricard's a free agent right now too. Maybe there would be a little Juszczyk reunion in Baltimore.
Pat Ricard needs to come back. All right,
give me them both and let Derrick Henry run behind those motherfuckers.
I will not eat Pizza Bolognese pizza ever again. Ricard does not come back to Baltimore.
Oh man,
how are the Ravens so fucking good at drafting kickers, long snappers, and fullbacks, but really finding receivers other than Zay Flowers has been fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Damn. Couple other ones I'm coming across here. Panthers cornerback signed a 4-year extension for $100 million.
Yeah, Joe Horn's kid, JC, right?
Yeah.
He's a South Carolina Gamecock. Shout out Nick Boat.
He's a cock. Kansas City extended linebacker Nick Bolton, 3 years, $45 million.
Yeah, he's really good. That was a really good move for them. Josh Palmer, by the way, got signed by the Buffalo Bills for $36 million, 3 years, $36. I saw somebody comment on Twitter, Buffalo loves mid receivers. Which made me laugh because it feels like they kind of do. Who will I exchange my Pokemon Go gifts with? I don't know, Nick. I don't know much about Pokemon Go. Know a lot about Pokemon.
Also, by the way, shout out to British Raven, Pat McAfee show. He won the Pat McAfee show giveaway, I believe, right? British Raven.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
What
Hell
did
yeah.
Okay, what giveaway?
I think he won. They do a giveaway all the time. I think it was a giveaway. It was like I think he won like $100 from him.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, like when they do that, like text something nice or something like that, or
Yeah, like
Mhm.
take a screenshot and say something nice to somebody.
Yeah.
awesome. That's great, man. Good job.
I believe
man.
it was that. Good for the Bills in getting a new deal, not a new deal, but an extension done with Allen, and they also got defensive end Greg Rousseau sewn up for a 4-year, $80 million extension.
Yeah, guy's a stud.
Let me see here.
And that deal that Josh Allen signed is going to be a discount in about 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Right now, he won 500. Yeah, baby.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Before you say this, Brian, he had 4 years left on his contract. So I understand people always say this is going to be a discount 4 years from now, but it's not going to be a discount if these guys just keep restructuring and getting paid more money. You know what I mean? So, like, it seems like the trend is sign a 6-year deal and then 3 years in say, hey, everyone else is making more than me. Let's restructure this. No, that's not how it used to be. You used to just sign your deal and then you go. And maybe this is just me being old school, and I don't blame any of the guys for getting their money, but I mean, at some point, this is going to stop, right?
Is it sustainable? I don't know. With the cap continuously going up, I don't know. But I'm happy they took care of them. They don't have to worry about this now for the next 6 years.
Yeah,
and that takes a lot of pressure off of the front office, and that's kind of where I'm going. They paid their guys, and it sends a great fucking message. We take care of our own. So it makes you attractive to free agents.
Because he was kind of falling down the board too, with like where he's in the pecking order of in terms of contracts and quarterbacks. I think it's you going like, hey, we think you're a top 3 quarterback. We're going to pay you like one.
Yeah, I mean, coming off an MVP, and so would it surprise me if the Ravens did this after next year? It would not.
No, and we don't want Lamar going anywhere, so I get that. Yeah.
Too obvious. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, to your point, I mean, he probably saw Tua Tagovailoa making $55 million, and he wasn't making that much, and being like, "Hey, I'm better than that fucking guy."
I know.
Yeah.
and before Brooks says what he's about to say, he's gonna talk about a couple other players. Like, this makes the Cowboys look so fucking stupid. Like, they're paying Dak Prescott $60 million. Like, he has no business making $60 million.
Good quarterback. Good player.
Good, and great for him getting the money, by the way.
And also great human being. He does a lot of really good stuff in the
community. And
he takes a lot of heat. He takes a lot of heat for.
Yeah. But he's not a $60 million quarterback. So if I'm Lamar, I'm like, wait a minute. I came in second in the MVP voting, and Dak Prescott can't stay on the field. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And by the way, before you even say anything, Brooks, I have no fucking idea why the Bengals GM came out and said, we're going to make Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. And then all of a sudden, all these other guys start getting fucking paid with massive numbers. Myles Garrett gets $40 million a year.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. Yeah.
And now you're like, hey, wait, well, you already said it. Jamar Chase's agent's going to be like, well, you said this, buddy. Let's make him a $41 million a year wide receiver.
It's funny that he said that, and everybody else is like, all right, well, we're going to run up that numbers. I was going to go there. But the other thing I wanted to go to, and I just lost it. Brian was talking about it. Who was Brian talking about? Damn it. Anyway, going back to the Bengals, I guess T. Higgins gets franchise tagged. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Whether he likes it or not,
they're going to have to trade him. They're going to have to trade him in order to get that number that Jamar Chase is going to be requesting.
What is the non-exclusive?
And then Trey Hendrickson is seeking a trade, or he's going out to the market and seeing what he can get.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go to the Browns. Let's go to the Browns and Myles Garrett getting that deal done.
Talk about the Cowboys getting screwed over again.
Yeah, Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons is licking his lips.
Micah Parsons had a great day doing nothing.
Yep,
He literally
just hanging
sat
out.
home and was like, "Bring me the bag.
Yeah.
Bring me the bag."
He Rod Tidwelled him. Show me the money.
Yeah, did Myles Garrett hear something that he liked from the Browns franchise that made him think that they were going to become a contender, or did the money really talk this
He
time?
was like $40 million. I'm cool with losing. All right, and bring on all the losses. I got $40 million a year, baby.
I saw a tweet that was like Myles Garrett when he finds out they're going to offer him $40 million a year, and it was just the intro to the Drew Carey show, and it's just Cleveland rocks. I was laughing so hard at that. Hey man, money talks. Money talks. We know. And the thing is that he came out and he was like, "Oh, I had a change of heart," like, and he tried to quantify it and make it like, just dude, just you got the bag. We get it. Just shut up.
You got the bag, man. That's Reggie White.
We don't blame you.
Yeah,
nobody's blaming you. It's fine. It's okay.
Reggie White was the first major free agent in football, and he said Reggie White notoriously he was called the Minister of Defense, and was a preacher. He said that God told him to go to the Green Bay Packers. Well, what God told him was take the most money offered to
you. Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah. And that's what Myles Garrett thing reminds me of. Like, God told him, take that bag.
An interesting release that I feel like didn't get enough talk that I'm kind of seeing right now. The Lions released Zadarius Smith.
Yeah. I saw some buzz that the Ravens might be interested in him. I think he would be a little cheaper, rotational, edge rusher who's been in the league a long time.
Are we pissed off because we basically had a deal done with him and he said he was coming back and then went somewhere else?
Maybe, and that's true. Maybe that relationship is strained. I don't know.
We bring up Rocco just by chance, but I mean, I think he mentioned one time that the Ravens weren't too happy that that they had basically had a deal done. He flipped on him.
Yeah.
Some low-key stuff that I'm seeing here. Texans are signing wide receiver Braxton Berrios to a 1-year, $2 million deal. Defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, 1 year, $7 million.
Sheldon Rankins. Forgot that guy existed.
I know, me too. This is just a couple things I'm coming across now that we haven't talked about.
Terps up to 11 in the pool, and Derek Queen first team All Big Ten.
No, that's cool. I didn't know the All Big Ten team came out.
Yeah, that just came out 24 minutes ago.
Okay, so do we get any second team guys?
I'm looking. Hold on.
Okay.
All Big Ten team.
Terpies look good, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Big Ten tournament. What's our seed in the Big Ten tournament? I didn't get the chance.
2 or 3. 2. Did Michigan beat Michigan State?
2. They play Friday at 6:30. I'm thinking about going to the game because the Big Ten tournament's here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So they got 2 round buys.
Double bye.
They have a double bye.
Double bye, yeah.
So they play Friday at 6:30. If they win that, they play Saturday after the 1:00 game. So they play the second game of that day, and then the championship is Sunday at 3:30, I believe.
Would you go to the Friday game or both or all three?
I'm trying to. Caitlin and I are probably going to go to the Friday game. I'm trying to make that happen. Just pending. Sunday's going to be tough because I got Monster Jam.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Banks is going to go crazy.
Where is Monster Jam? Lucas Oil Field is taken up. Where's Monster Jam? Is it at the Indian Stadium?
No, it's at Lucas Oil. The Big Ten tournament's is at Cambridge, where the Pacers play.
Oh. Whoa. Okay. All right. I thought it was the other way around.
First team, Derek Queen is the only Terp. Nobody on the second team. Jacoby Gillespie got third team, and Julian Reese was honorable mention. Derek Queen was also freshman of the year. Nobody on the.
What? You're eating the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, you literally are eating the microphone.
Sorry. Didn't realize that. My bad. But anyway, yeah, no Terps on the all defensive or anything like that. But just basically Derek Queen, Gillespie got third team, and then Reese got honorable mention.
They look good. They are getting hot at the right time. I haven't been this confident in a Maryland team since the COVID year, where we got really, I mean, unintentionally got screwed.
Yeah.
By a pandemic.
Yeah.
I feel really confident about this squad.
Yeah.
I do, but I mean they love to throw up a dud here and there, which scares me. I mean they didn't play great against Penn State. I mean they beat them, and obviously the Northwestern game was fine, but it was definitely should have been a more of a blowout. But
I'm not allowed to say anything bad about Penn State moving forward, guys. I'm sorry.
I mean, you still can.
I could if I wanted to, but I also like sleeping with both eyes closed. So Katie would kill me.
Okay. Just real quickly, the Players Championship is this weekend. If you guys want picks, if you guys want picks for the Players Championship, I'll post those on socials. But I'm looking at Siwoo Kim at 60-1. He was top 20 last week, and last year he was in the top 5 at this tournament. And Jordan Spieth, 60-1. You're just not going to see Jordan Spieth at 60 to win many golf tournaments for a really long time. He's back from the injury. He's played really well this year. 60-1 is just way too high. He's going to be in contention at some point this year in a big tournament. And the Players is one of the biggest tournaments of the year, and definitely the first huge one.
It's the 5th major.
Yeah.
And,
so
what's Tommy Fleetwood?
Tommy Fleetwood is 28-1. Yeah. Scotty's 4-1, and then everybody else is either 10-1 or further, odds wise. A lot of guys down the board though that I really like. Denny McCarthy, 80-1. That guy's always around the hoop. Christian Bezadenhout, 100-1. That guy's always around the hoop. Yeah. And these guys aren't guys you'll have to bet to win, but top 10s, top 20s, do a little parlay. But the Players is always really fun to watch. So I'm excited. I'm a golf fan. Anyway,
ooh, Caitlin coming out in the pink. What up, girl?
The boys are saying hi.
Anyway, it's time to get into our snake draft. I think you guys ready for a snake draft?
Let's do the music.
Oh yeah, I'll get it.
I can see every time.
If you don't know that last picture of us dancing, Drew is the one on the right.
Yeah. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
We love you.
Love you.
She's getting the mail.
It never fails.
Yeah. It makes me want to wag my tail.
When it comes, I want a whale.
Mail.
You guys.
Yeah. What? You're not a Blue's Clues guy?
I watched no less than 10 episodes of SpongeBob on
the podcast live right now. Back, okay.
On Sunday.
Bye.
And it holds up.
Brooks did tell me, he did explain to me that he was going to start watching SpongeBob with Banks because he hasn't seen it. And I guess you're just binging it?
Oh, yeah. I'm binging it. And also, there's a new Plankton movie that just came out yesterday on Netflix. It's like top 5 in the Netflix right now. So I'm going to have to give that a whoa.
I don't know what that
means.
Never mind.
I
know what plankton is, like algae.
Yeah. I thought
plankton is
I read that wrong.
Oh. I've never seen SpongeBob. I've never seen a minute of it.
What?
That's
never.
Bananas.
Man,
I've never seen
you're missing out.
That's banana. That's one banana. That's banana.
You don't deserve more than one banana.
All right, so because we were gone and all the shit's been chaotic, we haven't gotten
British Raven. Fun fact: I don't know if I said this on the podcast or just to Dustin while we were down in Florida, but if you remember the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob, the voice of that is Bill Murray's brother. I learned about that recently.
What a weird fact that was. The Flying Dutchman. We haven't gotten the graphics out the last couple. I'm trying to keep us on the rails. We haven't gotten the graphics out the last couple of snake drafts, or last snake draft. I haven't gotten the graphic out for it yet because we were traveling and all this shit. So we don't have an order for the draft today. So how do you guys want to do it?
I don't fucking know. I'll go second. You guys pick first or third.
Okay, Brooks, you want first or third? You go ahead. I'll let you guys decide.
Brooks goes first. Dusty goes third.
Okay, sounds good. Brooks, who's the best? By the way, the snake draft is stand-up comedians. I don't know if we mentioned that yet.
Yeah, our draft day is stand-up comedians, guys.
Yeah. Brooks has got the first pick. Brooks, who's your favorite stand-up comedian of all time? Or who's the best? Or draft however you want.
Yeah, don't tell me how to draft, dude.
Do your thing, man.
I'm just going with my favorite at the moment. Give me Shane Gillis.
Fair enough.
I'm not letting him get past the first round because I don't think he's coming back to me.
Yeah, did you already go to the Shane Gillis show, or is that coming
April?
Oh,
okay.
I
went to Tom. No, I'm not gonna say it.
No, Tom Segura. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we
right,
know.
Look.
I was kind of hoping it didn't come through.
All right, this is the heaviest of heavy hitters. It is Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy's a great pick. I can't believe I just got Dave Chappelle at number 3.
Yeah.
I'll take him though. Dave Chappelle is going to be the answer there. And I know that this guy is probably not going to go to either of you guys, but he is absolutely number 1 most quoted person for me, and that's Mitch Hedberg. I cannot let him go any further than there. And there are some guys that I really want on my team that I know I'm leaving on the board, but Mitch Hedberg is my guy. If you like one-liner comedies or comedians,
they're so great. He is so great. Him and Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright is on my list, you dick.
Yeah. I'm not taking him. I'm going to appease Joe Radke for the first time in a long time, and I will take the machine, Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer.
Bert Chrysler?
Bert Kreischer. That's for Joe. Brian.
That is literally for Joe. Literally for Joe. Because I get mistaken for him a bunch. Like, actually, people think I am him legitimately at the bars. So, and I'm wearing a shirt when I'm actually around these people.
If you weren't wearing a shirt, they would know it's not you because you're missing the giant gut that he's got.
Yeah, it's big belly.
All right, Brooks, you get 2 in a row here, and there are some heavy hitters left.
Oh man.
Yeah, I have 3 that I want to take, but give me Bill Burr.
That was my next guy.
And give me Louis C.K.
Those were my next 2 guys, and I knew that they were going to be gone. Brooks's team is stacked.
All right, I am going to go with Mr. Christopher Rock.
Yeah, he's pretty close down on my list here too. Chris Rock. Okay. I get 2 in a row here. I'm going to take Tom Segura. I think that guy's hilarious. I love his stand-up.
See, I don't find him funny. I'm not even kidding. And look, it's not a shot at him or you guys.
That's fair.
I don't get it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, look, different strokes, different folks, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna take one of Brooks and I's favorites from when we were younger, Brian Regan. He's a clean comic, but he is so funny. I'm gonna take him. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take my favorite comedian of all time, and he has a line that I'm going to use here. You guys might have heard me say it before, but that is Mr. Dave Attell.
Wow.
He always, I say this to everyone that has, all my friends at least, that have babies on the way. And people ask, like, what are you going to name your baby? What are you going to name your baby? And Dave Attell has a line that says, you never tell anyone what you're going to name your baby because everyone has a fucking opinion. He goes, so I'm going to name my baby Santa Pizza Pussy Claus because everyone likes one of those things.
That's great. That's a good joke. I like it. All right, Brooks, finish your draft off. Who you got?
I got two, right, or just one?
You got two.
Two.
Finish them off. Yep.
I am going to take Mr. Nate Bargatze.
Nice.
He's on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And for my last one, give me.
There are some massive names left
I
on this
know.
board.
Yeah.
I know.
Two of them are before my time, but they're like the two greats of comedy. You know what I mean?
Greats.
I'm not going to
I
pick them
know.
because they're before my time.
Me too. That's why. Yeah. All right. Just give me Norm Macdonald, R.I.P.
That's a good one.
Great call. All right, I'm finishing mine off, but I got to take Richard Pryor.
Yeah, and he's one of the heavy hitters we were talking about.
Yeah, because my mom and dad actually would rewatch his stand-ups when I was a kid. I didn't even understand the jokes at the time, but then I rewatch them now, given my advanced age, and I get some of the shit he's saying. It's great.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna finish off here. I'm between two. One of them's not a very traditional stand-up, but he's awesome, and he shares a birthday with me, and he's 6'6". But I'm not going to take him. I'm going to take the other guy because I've seen him live, and he's really good. I'm going to take Mike Birbiglia.
I've never heard of him.
Who is
I have no idea who that is.
Really funny comedian. Also kind of a clean comic. Doesn't really cuss very much, which, it's not necessarily my style or anything, but I guess I took two of them. So maybe it is. I just think he's a hilarious guy.
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Yeah, he's more of a storyteller as opposed to jokes, but they're crazy situations
delivery.
and they're really fun. But anyway, the other guy I was talking about was Bo Burnham, by the way, who's probably a little too young for you guys, but Bo Burnham was, and when I was in high school and college, was like the man. Who you guys got? Let's go with some honorable mentions. Obviously, George Carlin, nobody took.
George Carlin is being not on this list is a shame.
Yeah, but we said it. We said it, right?
I mean, it was between Richard Pryor and George Carlin for me.
Yeah.
I also have Jeff Foxworthy, and then I'll only give three because I know you guys got some of the same ones. Bob Saget.
Wow. I think of him at Full House. I don't think of him as a stand-up, but I know he was.
I'm surprised one of your honorable mentions was not Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, I know. I mistook him.
It's still on here, but
yeah. I mistook him. Brooks, you got some?
Yeah, Bernie Mac. Patrice O'Neill was
Really
a really
funny.
good one.
Died way too young.
And of course, actually, this is funny that British Raven brought this up. John Panay was one of Dustin and I's favorites. As well.
John Caparulo, I thought you might take Brooks.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Ralphie May, really, really, really funny guy. I like Ricky Gervais's comedy. I think he's hilarious. Nikki Glaser was the only lady I had on my list. Nikki Glaser kills it. In her roasts and the Oscar shit and her she's hilarious. She's great. And then I also had Theo Von, but I think Theo Von is hilarious, but not his stand-up per se. His podcast and like his conversational humor is really good, but his stand-up is just okay, and that's okay.
But Adam Sandler, Rodney Dangerfield, Chris Farley, Jeff Ross.
I don't know if I've ever seen Chris Farley's stand-up.
Yeah, I don't necessarily.
It's how he got onto SNL. Because he was doing stand-up stuff at like the Comedy Factory or Comedy Store or whatever it was called up there, like the real big one, or it might have been Caroline's. That's how we got onto SNL, not just because he was fat and everyone likes fat comedians. By the way, why are now skinny comedians are hot, but it used to be like the heavier you were, the funnier you were.
I.e. Ralphie May.
Yeah. What about a couple more I got are John Mulaney.
Yeah, he's on my list.
Mark Normand is a newer one that's coming up. Jim Gaffigan's one that I really liked for a while. But go ahead, Dust. That's a couple more out of me.
Dimitri Martin, another like one-liner joke guy. He was really funny. Jim Jeffries, Australian dude, really funny. And another clean guy, Pete Holmes. I love Pete Holmes. He's so funny. I love him.
Right. You're the clean comedian lover. I love this.
So, man, I don't know. It's something. It's harder to do.
You like
harder to make people
comedians?
laugh without yelling fuck all the time. It's harder.
I will say this about comedians. I really do appreciate comedians that don't need to use race, cuss words. Cussing happens.
Politics, yeah.
Politics. I appreciate that they can find ways to make you laugh, and they don't need to go to those same fucking wells over and over and over again.
Yeah. Ron White.
Aziz Ansari.
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
Ron White is exactly who he is on
stage.
The stage. I've served him a couple times. He used to do a show over at the Symphony, the BSO here in Baltimore. He is exactly like that. He drinks whiskey. He is dry, and it is spot on. He does not change when he gets a microphone.
Stavi, I know, guys. Sorry, but look, we're talking about the best comedians of all time here. I'm not putting Stavi in that list.
I'm not thinking Stavi over Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
No offense, Stavi.
I mean, you Candy Pettit over Sandy Koufax last week. You fucking moron.
I was waiting to see when that was going to get brought up. It was only a matter of time.
Going over the list again, Brooks has got some heavy hitters here. He's got Shane Gillis, Bill Burr, Louis C.K., Nate Bargatze, and Norm Macdonald. Brian's team is Eddie Murphy, Burt Kreischer, Chris Rock, Dave Attell, and Richard Pryor. Mine is Dave Chappelle, Mitch Hedberg, Tom Segura, Brian Regan, and Mike Birbiglia. I honestly think that I have the worst team somehow.
I don't know who Mike Birbiglia is. I would agree.
You should watch him. He's really funny.
Is he on Netflix?
Yeah, he's on the Flicks.
Actually, I think he just had a recent one come out, I think.
Okay.
He's on the Flicks. He's funny.
Yeah.
Chris, we mentioned Seinfeld in the honorable mentions. I think all of us like Seinfeld more as the sitcom guy and less as the stand-up guy. And obviously, that's part of the show is him doing stand-up stuff too. But I don't know. Same thing with Larry David. Like, I don't know Larry David as a stand-up. I know him as the guy who created Curb and Seinfeld.
Do you remember the episode where Jerry goes out and intentionally bombs because of Kenny Benya?
Yeah, Benya.
Got in those rainbow suspenders.
Yeah.
Well, boys,
you got him. I'm always so scared when he does this because I never know.
He's going to come back shirtless.
Yeah, those are great. You need to get some. You need to get some pieces of flair on there, dude, and wear them behind the
bar. What's the deal with Ovaltine? What's the one line? And obviously, I'm not making fun of this. It's just a liner. What's the deal with cancer? And someone from the crowd goes, "I have cancer." And you're like, "What? That's crazy."
Banya. That's gold, Jerry. Gold.
That's gold, Jerry. That's gold.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, that was our Tuesday, March 11th edition of the Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture Show. We will be back on Thursday as we normally are, and we will probably have a shit ton more of NFL stuff to talk about. We're going to have some Big Ten tournament stuff to talk about. We might do a little bit more players championship stuff. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Big Ten start Thursday or Wednesday?
I think it starts Wednesday. Okay. I think the bad teams play Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday might be difficult for me. I'm traveling down to Charlottesville, so it's really just transportation. Katie and I are going down there, so I don't know exactly when I'll be able to go live.
Okay, that's fine. If we have to go earlier or later, or we can
just set up in the passenger seat on your phone.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Or you can just call it.
She can hold the phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about scheduling on Thursday off camera. If it changes, guys, we will let you know. And once again, I will have those graphics out to you. I have to go. I had a meeting at my one bar this morning. I have to go to my other bar today to set up for St. Patrick's Day weekend. So it's a hectic day for me.
Oh shit! I forgot it's St. Patrick's Day.
So we're kind of doing it on the fly, but I will get the graphics out as quickly as possible, and I will get a couple bets out for the players because I know you guys like hearing those too. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening and hanging out with us, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to go do this show in Sarasota. It was so much fun, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys listening, supporting, and like, subscribe, comment. We will be able to do more stuff like that for our members, and more stuff that for who the people listening who aren't paid as well. And also check out the Huckleberries, $2.99. A lot of exclusive stuff on there. A lot of videos of us bullshitting, drunken shenanigans from Sarasota. And
we'll
we'll
have some
more
funny
stuff coming.
drunken shenanigan clips on there from Sarasota.
Yeah,
well.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
We're still going through all of it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There's
I'm still recovering from the golf thing.
Much fun stuff.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
I love you too, man.
Mental health is killer. It is a killer, and I will tell you this much: my mental health is in a great place because I got to be around my friends for a bunch of days, and damn it, it felt great. I'm still smiling. My smile, as Katie told me, my smile was 4 times larger than what it normally is, and I enjoy smiling. So everyone take care of each other. Everyone take care of each other and be good to people.
Hell yeah. Check out the Huckleberries. We'll see you on Thursday. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Love you guys. Be good.